Hello, welcome back. So today I was actually just about to make a batch of holiday soap, and I was gonna do something weird and thought I would set up the camera and share that with you guys. So a lot of different people, when they make soap and they want to put their logo on the soap, they use one of these, which is a soap stamp. If it'll focus. So I have a soap stamp that I got off Etsy, and this has my logo in it, and I love it, but I'm not good at using it. I feel like it comes out okay, but I don't know, sometimes I lean it too far one way or lean it too far the other way, and I'm just not always super satisfied with how it looks. So that being said, I thought I would come up with a different idea. I actually brought one of the bars of soap that I have on my site now. You can see the little LM on there, and I think it looks okay, but I guess maybe I'm just being nitpicky or a perfectionist, and I feel like this could be better. I have a couple of these silicone molds that I use for my soap. They're really nice and flexible, and so I had a couple of ideas as someone who owns a 3D printer. One idea was, hey, I can buy some TPU and maybe I can print something like this with the logo in it. But my issue with that is I was worried, the sides of this are nice and smooth, and I was worried that even if I used a 0.2mm nozzle, I might have some ridges on the side. And I felt like that would be me just trading one problem for a different problem. So I said, what if I kind of do a blend of the two things? So I have a couple of these, and on my 3D printer, I printed some of my logo just with regular PLA. All I did was I went on Illustrator, I made the file, I exported as an SVG, and then I opened it up in Bambu Studio and tweaked it a little bit. I'll actually share my screen and I'll show you how I did that in a second. I actually, since I have already kind of cheated and done a couple of these, I will maybe pick a new letter or something. I'll just pick some random shape or something, and I'll show you how to export the file into Bambu Studio. If you are kind of a 3D printing newbie like me, I've had the printer since, well, I guess late last year, and I really have not had as much time to dedicate to learning all the different softwares that I would like to. So this is kind of a basic thing. So if you're in that beginner realm like me, this might be something easy that you can do. But my thought is I printed a bunch of these little ones, and I have some glue, and I am just gonna glue the logo down into the base of these so that when I pour it, I can actually kind of just skip the whole step of having to stamp these. And I think this is cheaper than a lot of the custom molds that I see online. I've seen some that are in that affordable range, but they're not the size or the shape that I really want. And I know some of the ones I looked at before were coming from China. Seems like a big hassle. I figured I had this stuff here, I could do it right now, and you guys get to come along and watch, because if it turns out terribly, you didn't have to waste your money and I just ruined my molds. Okay, anyway, let's get going. So I'm in Illustrator. This is just a 3" by 3" artboard, nothing fancy or complicated. I'm just opening a text box here. Let's pick a more interesting font, make it bigger just so it's easier to see. We'll tweak it later. Here we go. Now that's a little more fun. So I'm just going to select the K, go up to Object, then select Expand. Now we'll go up to File, Export As. We'll call this K, Export. Now let's open Bambu Studio. I'm using this because I have a Bambu 3D printer. Then File, Import, and select the file we just named K. And there's our K. You can probably tell this is maybe taller than we like, so we'll have to tweak it. Just select Scale. You can change these to whatever size you like. I don't want to change anything but the height, so I'll deselect Uniform Scale. My current stamp's about 3mm, so let's put that. And that's looking good to me, but you really can put whatever size fits your mold. Come up here to Slice Plate, and then when you're ready, you can hit Send. All right, just to help with orientation a little bit, now that we have gotten all our letters, I kind of line this up with an existing bar of soap, and then I'm just gonna imagine it going down this way, face down. And that's kind of my very visual way to make sure I don't have something facing the wrong way. So I'm just gonna eyeball these. They're not gonna be perfect, but honestly, they were not perfect when I was stamping them. So all I did to prep these was wipe everything out with a little alcohol. So hopefully this sticks. I'm using a little Ultra Gel gel super glue. This is what I had on hand, but I actually like this super glue a lot because it's not runny. Let's go ahead and get these glued down. I always try to think, I'm like, when is the point in the video when someone is screaming at their phone something? And I know someone's like, that one's crooked, to the left, to the left. Doing my very best, guys. Just gonna put a little bit. Yeah. It feels like it's on there. I mean, I guess these could get stuck in the soap, like it would eventually come out. I'm not super stressed about that. Just gonna push it down, see how it is before it sets. That one's already set, that's pretty quick. Let's get our other one knocked out. So they're all glued in here. They may not be perfect, but I feel like it's gotta be better than my stamping skills. Hopefully this fun little experiment saves us a couple bucks and some time. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's see how these came out. All right. So, not terrible, right? I mean, maybe that looks a little weird right there, but this looks way better than whatever I tried to do with my soap stamp. So I would call, well, let's not count our soaps before they demold. That is at least a success, I think. Now, I guess I could have maybe made them a little shallower, but honestly, I think this looks good. I think this looks a little clearer than me using the soap stamp. This smells so good, guys. This is a blend of cardamom and ginger and turmeric. Okay, so that one didn't come out so good. I think I wiggled it a little bit too much, so maybe that'll be my sample. So I think these came out okay. I think the lesson here is really that, here's an example. So this is the one bad one I really had. And it's not, I think, because of anything I did with the actual mold making. I think this is because instead of pulling it straight out, I wiggled it a little bit. So if you're going to try to do something like this, I think you just have to be a little bit more careful with how you pull it out of the mold. But otherwise, I think these came out pretty good. What do you guys think? What do you guys usually use? Do you guys usually just use a soap stamp? I think this looks okay. I think this looks better. And I think this kind of makes up for my shortcomings in soap stamping. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. I will see you in the next one. Go forth, be kind, be creative.